today, and we're here to dedicate a bench in celebration of that occasion. It's probably fair to say that the lack of community involvement from a formal perspective, namely there's not as many of these projects going on throughout the country, it's been left to groups like ACT to organise their own events, and we've been doing something similar since the last few weeks to commemorate the Northern Ireland Centenary. However, I'm sure looking around me, people of a particular vintage don't want to hear from equally old people like myself. So we've been working for the last couple of months now with a group of students from the Boys Model. And some of the things they've been learning with us in the ENACT initiative down in our main building is about their own contribution to their community. So they've been learning all about the history, about the social history, about the involvement of their parents and grandparents and even great-grandparents over the last 100 years of Northern Ireland. So instead of someone like myself doing the dedication today, we're going to call on two of the group who's been working with us. You're going to hear from Matty and Eyston, and they're going to be the key speakers today. So without further ado, I'll hand over to them. Thank you.
Welcome and thank you all for such a great turnout on this momentous day. In 1912, fierce opposition to the proposed Home Rule Bill was displayed in no greater way when 471,414 men and women signed Ulster, Sam League and Covenant and the Women's Declaration of Support, some even in blood. In time, the opposition led the formation of the country we hold dear today, when the six counties of Antrim, Armagh, Down, Fermanagh and Tyrone became part of the state of Northern Ireland. 100 years ago to this very day, a short distance from here, Belfast City Hall, His Royal Highness King George V opened the new Parliament for the first time. At the opening, King George said, "I am confident the important matters entrusted to the control and guidance of the Northern Ireland Parliament will be managed with wisdom and moderation, with fairness and due regard to every faith and interest, and with no abatement of that patriotic duty to the Empire." We find ourselves today within another crisis known as the Northern Ireland Protocol. Similar opposition is gathering momentum. It is within this context that today we must look to a future over the next 100 years to build a positive, prosperous Northern Ireland. Unlike over a century ago, when the working class people that walked these very streets were represented by great leaders and politicians, we find ourselves today led by great working class people, when politicians fail amongst themselves and are nowhere to be seen within the community. The words written in the Solemn League and Covenant still ring true to this very day. We must look to build a better future. It says in the Covenant, "We must pledge ourselves to stand by one another in defending for ourselves and our children our cherished position of equal citizenship in the United Kingdom." With this in mind, we announce the insertion of this bench to celebrate 100 years of our country. With this, I will hope it will be used by those who visit this garden over the next 100 years and beyond. Thank you.
Put over your knee like a wee passenger sitting.
Sorry,